Hey, it's Steve McCready. I hope your 2023 is off to a good start. Ours was a little interesting thanks to a big storm that came through on New Year's Eve. Took out our power, so caused us to change our movie plan into game night by candlelight, which was a lot of fun. And then getting woken up at 4 a.m. when the power came back on. But what are you going to do? Anyway, so yeah, hope your 2023 is going well so far. But I can imagine if your social media feed and your inbox are anything like mine, you've probably already been inundated with like various forms of emails, messages, videos, and other things telling you about how you can just rock your 2023 or do more, blah, blah, blah. Right, all that performance, yada, yada stuff. And I like on New Year's, like I was already like by mid morning New Year's, like kind of overwhelmed after just seeing a bunch of it come kind of flooding by me. It's a lot. So I'm going to add to that, but in a different way, I think, that you'll, I think, find useful and actionable. And this is part one of, I'm actually going to be doing three videos that I'm going to call the Elephant Trilogy. Why? Because there's elephant metaphors associated with all of them. And that's really the main reason, not because the topics have inherently a ton to do with them. I mean, about performance and all of that. But anyway, so this is part one of the Elephant Trilogy, and it comes from this riddle where we're going to start, which is how do you eat an elephant? I know probably a lot of you know the answer, right? But for those who don't, one bite at a time. What's the idea? Of course, take a big thing, break it down into little pieces. And we're not going to get into the ethics of eating elephants. It's a metaphor. No elephants are being harmed in the making of this video, you know. But yeah, we take this big elephant, we break it down into these little pieces, and then it becomes something that you can actually eat. And that's what you can do as it relates to goals, not just for 2023, but longer term goals, to break them down into something that's very actionable, very viable, and can be tackled on a much smaller, more manageable scale. So here's how we do it. Real simple. I'm just going to walk through this pretty quickly, but I think you'll be able to follow along because it's pretty straightforward. Start with, let's say, 5-year plan. You could do 10 if you're really a long-term visioner, but 5 or 10 years. And really think about what are the things you want to have done, achieved, accomplished, experienced, gotten, whatever, in that time frame. So start there. That's your whole elephant. Now, if it's 10 years, then look at what would I have to have done, achieved, etc. in 5 years. But if you're starting with 5, that's fine. Then we're going to go down to 1 year and go, what do I need to have done by the end of 2023 to be on track for that 5-year vision that I've got, right? Here we are taking the elephant and we're breaking it down into small pieces already. But that's really just getting started, okay? Because then what we're going to do is we're going to break it down further. We're going to break it down into, I don't know, let's go with calendar and use monthly ones. I mean, you could do quarterly if you want. That's fine too. But I just take it, break it down 12 parts more or less, but be mindful. If you're anything like me or most people I know, not every month is the same for you. Some months you're more energetic and productive. Some months you have more stuff going on, life, other things. Keep that in mind, right? So you're not trying to just break it into 12 even pieces because that's not how your year is going to go productivity-wise. You can probably make some pretty good guesses based on past years. Plan accordingly. So now we've got this year, broken it down into 12 pieces. It's getting smaller and smaller, right? We're not done. Now we're going to take it and chop those monthly pieces into, again, 4, more or less. Certain months, you may know I'm going to be on vacation 2 weeks of that month. Okay, think accordingly. But break it down into weekly pieces. And then we're going to take those and break them down possibly even further, depending on what they are, right? Some things it might be, no, I'm just going to do this one action a week, and that's how I'm going to get there. Other ones it might be I need to do a daily action. Others might be 2-3 times a week, depending on just what it needs to be manageable and to fit in your calendar, right? So now we've taken this big 5-year elephant. We have broken it down, broken it down, broken it down, broken it down, and we have a ton of little pieces, which in and of itself could feel kind of overwhelming, all right? It's like when you get that puzzle, it's like 5,000 pieces and you dump it all on the table and you're like, oh my God, there's so many pieces there. Except the only piece we're going to worry about is the one right in front of us, all right? What are the pieces, or what's the piece I need to tackle today, or what are the pieces I need to tackle this week. And we're just going to focus on doing those. Focus on the process, not the outcome, and work that process. And if you keep working that process one bite at a time, you're going to find that over time, you indeed can eat that whole elephant. So really simple concept, right? And you can use this anytime anything is feeling too big and too overwhelming and like it's too much. Break it down, because you can almost always do that. And I'm really only not saying always because I don't like using always or never. I can't think of a way you probably couldn't break it down. Break it down into smaller pieces until you go, all right, that's manageable. And when you have a cohesive set of small manageable pieces and then you build them, put them all together, boom. It is a recipe to do really big things through really small steps. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts. I'm always happy to hear from you, and I'll be back soon with part 2 of the Elephant Trilogy. Until then, keep moving forward. Talk to you soon.